What's up, everybody? It's your favorite tyrannic monster. Is that what? Tyrannic lizard? Dinosaur's favorite nerd. And today we are looking at G Creations, which is actually, according to the box now, no longer called G Creations. Instead, they're called like Elemental P Creations. HZ and YL Creation. Produced by G Studios, Wrath. So, there's that. And apparently that's how it's always been. It's just people have called it G Creations, but that's since at least since Growl, or since their Snarl mold, that's how it's been. So I guess we just call it that. Interesting, culturally. Accessory-wise, comes with a sword. You know, I like to overpronounce the S. Nice red chrome on it. Doesn't match the red plastic, but we'll talk about that. And then we have this silver metallic kind of finish on the blade itself. And he does hold it like a champ. Has a little tab in there. Get these claws out of the way, just so we're not fighting against each other. Boom, no problem. He also comes with this huge shield, which is just a enormous parts forming piece for combine mode. I guess we'll look at this eventually, but it plugs in with four spots. If I can, it's four. Hold on. 4 tabs, and this splits apart, and you open up his hand and you form this around his hand, and then once you have it, then you can plug that back in. And he has a huge shield, which is ridiculous. At least they came up with a way for him to use it, but I mean, it's so heavy that it's hard not to get him to. I mean, he's still standing, technically, but you'd have to really pose him right to kind of utilize this. But it's kind of goofy, so I doubt anyone would. Let's take that off, and then we'll take this off, and we're not going to talk about this anymore today. He comes with 2 feet covers, because I think one had a different color chrome than the other when it came to the feet that we've already looked at. So they came up with a way to fix that and gave it to you. Nice touch. He comes with these bits here. I'm guessing these are for combiner reasons, so we're not going to be talking about them either, but he does come with them. And then he comes with his signature gun. Silver's painted on there, and this piece does come out. So whatever, but it's good enough, and then he holds it well. Just there, and that'll cover the accessories. First things first is he's much bigger than the others. So I'm not sure how they're going to all look together, but I think this is on loan to me. I should say that first. This is on loan to me from Brandon. I've heard a couple people have come to me and think that when I say Brandon, I'm talking about like a Brandon that's in the distribution field of Transformers. That's not the case. It's a guy that lives not too far from me. He lives in the Baltimore area. So we'll just call him Baltimore Brandon from now on. And this is on loan to me from him. At least I think anyway. I don't know. I'm starting to get the impression he may not want to hang out.
I hate coming here. He's so creepy. But I'll do it for you guys.
Baltimore Brandon? Hope he came to hang out. Maybe it's all in my head. Anyway, I think it's on loan from him, and I appreciate it, Brandon. And I will hope to get through this and get this guy in one piece back to you. So, head is on a ball joint with an insane range of motion. A fantastic range of motion for a ball joint. Look at all the way up there. All the way down there, so he can look way down at you. I love that. I love that. It makes for a very intimidating looking bot. And then, of course, the swivel is intact. It is a tight ball joint, so the stem is thick, so to speak. So it shouldn't snap on you or anything. But It is tight, which is a good thing, to be honest. We have the red chrome eyes, which looks great. Let me try to get some extra light on that for you. I don't know how well that's picking up, but it looks nice. And then the gray is painted on. I mean, the silver's painted on rather, and looks good as well. I like the head sculpt overall. The in pictures and stuff, like the way that this has gotten real skinny there in the middle, kind of irritated me. But in person, it doesn't bother me at all. Moving down the figure, we got this gray plastic up in there, but otherwise it's this chrome with this translucent piece on here. I'm not a big fan of this translucent that they've been using on their Dinobots. It looks green to me, but it is on par with the other ones. You could take it off, but then you have the holes, so just pointing it out. It's there. Articulation-wise, shoulders are on a massive hinge inside, and then it's ratcheted at the socket, and actually, like, it's this piece here stays still, and this piece, this outer piece, kind of ratchets around it, which is nice. It doesn't get much range up, out straight to the side. You're pretty much limited to that, which is a bit of a bummer. Bicep swivel works well. You have a double jointed elbow that gets you 90 degrees, and it's ratcheted at both ends. I guess trying to help with that shield, but it doesn't do enough of a job. No paint whatsoever on that arm. Not a lick. You know, I don't like that. Wrist swivels. And fingers are on a hinge at the base knuckle on a single pin, and they work fine. Same for the other side. Alright. Waist. Ratcheted swivel. These wings back here, ratcheted. This, I mean, it has back kibble. You know, don't think it doesn't. But it's kind of you know, it's Grimlocky, right? Like it's the appropriate Grimlock kibble. It's a little present, you know what I mean? But it's not hateful for the figure. So let's move on. Hips. Ratcheted universals, big ratchet gaps. So you get a little bit of that. You know the type when the ratchet's a bit too big. You get a little bit of that, but you do, and they're tight, boy. I don't want to. You know, you can get a good range on them. And this piece here is constantly coming out as I try to ratchet it. I don't care. I don't care for these ratchets. They just don't seem to be extremely well done. And then you can go forward, straight out, so no problems there. And back. You can even go beyond that, but you wouldn't really need to, would you? So that's there. Pink. Why did I say that? Silver paint right there looks fine. Yeah, there's something proportionate about this that's bothering me. Like his waist is real thin up in here, and his hips are kind of wide, and his chest doesn't quite seem wide enough for the hips. I don't know. Just looking at it is kind of bothering me. Articulation's the same here for that leg, and then we have, except it's tighter. It's tighter. It's even tighter than the other one. Thigh swivel, soft ratchet down below the universal joint of this piece that connects to it. And then a knee that's on a soft ratchet and only gets you to there. So that's a little disappointing. And then the feet, we got a blue metallic paint here, which looks great. And then we have this red and green translucent plastic, which is not the best. But it's there. It's not hateful. It breaks it up. I just would have preferred the same type of paint that was applied here. I think that would have looked really sharp. Outside of that, not a lick. Not a lick of paint. Not a lick of paint on there. That, I think this might be a separate piece of plastic put in there. On the thighs, like there's not a lot of paint on this guy. Foot, you get a slight tilt, and then you get a good rocker. It's like a toe rocker, but the toe is connected to most of the foot, so I think it's fine. I give it a pass. And then you got the connector ports and stuff down there to kind of settle him in. So he's okay. Size comparison wise, there he is with MP Grimlock. So they're pretty comparable. Let me try to get him in a straighter stance. Do you know what I'm saying? I think that he's going to feel a bit too big next to the other guys, because the other guys have definitely not been this big. Alright, montage time. So we're going to pull down this bottom claw, fold the fist up till it's flush, fold that back. Same on the other side. Pull this whole assembly back and out. So that it comes off on this double hinge here, which is not easy. So if you get in with something small up underneath, you should be able to pop it right out and then raise it up. This this translucent piece off the chest is already fallen off, so just if it happens to you, just set it to the side, otherwise you'll drive yourself nuts. You got to pull this flap out here and then tuck the head in. Now when you do all this, you have to make sure that all this stuff stays lined up as you bring it back down, which can be pretty frustrating, and then peg these pieces back in, and then this piece back into the lower section. Now for this piece, you open up these flaps here, and here, bring out the combiner head, and then you take your shield, and on the back side of your shield are these gold bits that you unplug, and then plug them together, and then they sit in there, and then you close this back up. Then the head comes back up. Actually, I think it's like this, yeah, because that tabs back into that. I'm not crazy about that face either, I can tell you, but it's better than the Toy World one. Okay, so take the whole section, bring it up and around, bring that down, and then close these around it to kind of capture it. And that is the front part of the dinosaur. For the legs, you kind of do your G1. I can't remember how far you go out, but whatever. And open all this up like a piñata exploded. That's got to go like that. And then this comes out and around, and then it's on a sliding piece here that should theoretically slide, right? There. And then that slides up, and then you fold it at the base there, and you bring this around, and then as you fold it up, keep folding until that can plug onto there. Which doesn't want to stay for me. Okay, I had to fiddle with it, but the way you can tell you've got it right is when that piece there sits inside of that, and then this is at a slight angle here, but it's pretty much turned all the way back around on itself. And then that tabs in up there. So here, let's try to set ourselves up for success and rotate that to, I think, here. And then this comes around like that. And then this tail piece, open up here, flip the tail out, and fold that back, and then this comes back around like that. So let's try this other leg. Open up here, open up here, open up here, all to the best that you can to get as much of this out of the way as possible. And then you should be able to open that, slide that down like that, and then rotate at the base hinge here. Gee, Christmas. Look, my little tab came undone. I got news for you. It ain't an easy piece to get right either. We'll come back to it. Foot piece up and around. I hate this transformation. Gee whiz. Whew. Oh, and it still ain't right. But that's going to be the best we're going to do today. Let me get him cleaned up. We'll take a look at him. But he's done. Thank God. So I know why there's not a lot of reviews of this guy. But anyway, there's a ball joint inside of here for the arm. And then there's a hinge that it comes out to, and then another hinge, and then a swivel at the wrist, and then 3 fingers all on the base knuckle on hinges on a single pin. So like it's very articulated in terms of the arms. They're pretty well done. And then the rest of this guy, like there's paint all up in there. That's where I guess you get your little bit of paint apps, just a dark gray and then a red. And then we've kind of looked at the legs, but same ratchet joint there, hinge, and then double jointed knees, getting you to there. And I will say, like, it puts him in a more, like, kind of proper T-Rex stance, as opposed to, like, the old school 80s T-Rex stance that we know from Grimlock. But getting him there is no fun at all. It's probably the least fun transformation I've ever partaken in. And there he is next to the G1. Another thing like I want to point out is like there's something about this head sculpt that just doesn't look Grimlock to me. And it's on a hinge. So as far as I can tell, there's no swivel. And then you can close this and open this, and then this gun articulates on a hinge in there. But do you see what I'm saying? Just doesn't look like Grimlock to me. Final thoughts wise, this is the third of the set, and it's the one that I'm least impressed with. I just find it to be generally troublesome. Like, the transformation is a bloody nightmare. Like, I hate it. There's so many little things that move that make doing it difficult. It's not that it's a hard transformation in the sense of the steps. It's just that the steps themselves become difficult because the other pieces don't move properly. They're either the joints are too tight, or they're on a floppy hinge, or it's messy. It's not fun. It's aggravating. It's frustrating. It's obnoxious. I'm angrier now than I was 20 minutes ago. This thing is not good for your temper. I can't bear the thought of doing this again. I think that if Baltimore Brandon lets me hold this guy again to do the combine mode, I probably won't do them and show them in all their modes and then show them all back, because it's just not worth it. Like, it's not worth the frustration. Like, this is my least favorite transformation since I've gotten back into collecting. I hate the transformation on this. And then the other things don't do you much better. The articulation is limited in the knees. It's limited in the shoulders. So that's aggravating. Some of the joints that cause you frustration and transformation also cause you frustration in the articulation department because it's hard to get them to move properly, like the hips, for instance. The overall aesthetic, I kind of dig, especially with that translucent piece off. I like the way he looks. He looks, he looks very updated. But like, I have a hard time co-signing this one. Like, there's limited to no paint application. Like, it has the chrome and the metallic finish on certain pieces, and that's nice, but it's not enough to get by, in my opinion. It just looks plain. Like, his shoulders and arms, it looks unfinished, and I can tell you the transformation feels unfinished. Like, it just feels like a Fisher-Price team in the sense of intuitiveness. It's like this is their first time at it. Like, I don't care about parts forming, but some of this stuff seems unnecessary. Like, you got to parts form the shield to put it in the throat of the dinosaur. Come on. Just don't do that to the dinosaur. Give him the chrome neck like you did here. Why is it okay here and not there? Why do you have to give him the translucent bit there? Find another place to put translucents so you don't have to unplug here to fill in the gaps. It's messy. That's the best way to describe it. And then on the plus side, it's really just the aesthetic. And the metallic paint and chrome that they applied is done really well. So I commend them for that. It's just the rest of it. Some joints are squeaky tight. Some joints are almost impossible to feel like to move without getting leverage on them. The wings do articulate up and down too. I don't think I mentioned that. Like there. I hope you can see that. But yeah, there's just not enough good here for me to co-sign this. I don't care for it at all. I like the general look of it, and if you're going to have him in bot mode, maybe, and you're just going to take him out of the box and put him on a shelf, he'll do fine. I don't like the Tyrannosaurus mode. I don't like the way it looks. I don't like the way it feels. It doesn't feel like Grimlock. I don't like getting it there, and I don't like the lack of paint, and I don't like the articulation issues. So I can't co-sign this. I can't recommend this. I think there's so little reviews of this because it's such a pain to deal with. It's not very inviting. So thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Until next time, take care.